Welcome back, Crystal Water Tarot. Welcome to anyone new for a yes or no pick-a-card reading. We will have 3 different cards that you can select from, and we'll be using seashells. So for card number 1, we have Moonstone, and with the seashell. For card number 2, we have Turquoise with the seashell. And for card number 3, we have Serpentine, I believe it's called, with the seashell. So you can take your time and select one of the 3 cards or all of them, whichever one is calling to you. And we will go on with our readings. Thank you again for joining Crystal Water Tarot, and talk to you soon. Okay, welcome back to those who chose pile or card number 1, the Moonstone. Connecting with lunar energy, embrace your intuitive gifts, and the seashell. So let's go ahead and get your tarot cards. We have the Tower in reverse. We have the 10 of Swords. We have the Page of Cups. We have the Ace of Cups. We have the 10 of Wands. You can see those. We have the 3 of Swords, the Fool, Temperance, 3 of Wands, and the 7 of Swords. And let me adjust the light. There we go. So, well, that's kind of dark. So, with this Tower card, and with the whole idea of the Moonstone and the talking about the lunar energy and the intuitive gifts, what I'm sensing is that at night, and with the Tower card, is that things may be keeping you up at night. Things, when you're trying to sleep at night, that's where things are really coming to you. That is where things sort of get on your mind. That is where you may have trouble sleeping. That is where you do all of your thinking. And things may be keeping you up. Things may be just kind of, bothering you. And with the Tower card in reverse, and you have all of these people around you, and that's what's really kind of, you have all of what people are saying, you have all of that noise in your head. And the Tower in reverse in this specific deck, this is telling you to just let it go. Maybe you can't let it go forever, but maybe taking time to just let it go for a time. Because that's building up the emotion, that could affect your health, that could affect so many things. And, then we're followed by the 10 of Swords, and we see people, again, we see lots of people. And then we have, of course, the knives with the backstabbing. Here you're worried about what people are saying about you. And again, that's running through your head. And that's connected with, of course, the Page of Cups with your emotions. And your emotions can overflow. And, people come and go out of our lives, which is coming down with the Ace of Cups. And people come, people go, and emotions change. And so that's kind of what this is kind of telling me, this whole top row, is that, you need to let things go. Maybe you can't let them go forever, but maybe give yourself a break. Maybe, with the 10 of Wands in reverse, you've been carrying a lot, and maybe this is what you're carrying, and maybe this is where it's time to let it go. Why are you carrying this? What at night is keeping you awake? What is it, a burden? Is it something that you need to carry? So that could be keeping you up. Is it? Then we're having the Three of Swords, and maybe it's time, if somebody has hurt you, if that's what these emotions are about, if someone has hurt you, maybe, and they're no longer in your life, maybe this is something that has left you with these emotions. Maybe it's time to let them go. Maybe it's time to work on your healing. Maybe it's time, I'm not saying forgive. I'm saying maybe it's time to work on healing for yourself. Then we have the Fool card. And everybody thinks about the Fool card as those first steps, as those next steps. But with this specific deck here, the Fool card talks about, we laugh at a clown. But when you're also looking at it is, we laugh at the clown, but we want people to laugh with us, not at us. And that's where it's interesting, because it's falling right under the Ten of Swords, which is that what you're afraid of? Is that what you're thinking about when people backstabbing me? Are people laughing at me? What is this scenario that you're carrying? What are you worried about? Are you afraid of people talking about you with these emotions? So that's kind of what's coming through, and this could be very specific to somebody. So if you're listening to this and it's not really coming with you, this may not be your reading. Then we have Temperance. And with this Temperance card, they're adding, Temperance normally talks about balance and keeping your life balanced. But for here, maybe you need to add something to your life. Maybe you need to add something. Maybe somebody left. Maybe if you're having issues, maybe you need to talk to somebody. So maybe you need to add that. Or maybe you need to take away something. Maybe you need to walk away from somebody. Again, this is just what I'm feeling. It's not telling you to walk away from anybody by any means. But maybe it talks about adding and subtracting. So again, maybe you just need to take a break. Maybe, again, we're talking about that healing. So maybe it's just those kinds of things. In the Three of Wands being in reverse, we normally talk about the Three of Wands as moving forward, as looking ahead. But this one here, again, we can be moving ahead, and we have charts, and things can go sideways. Things can suddenly change. And this card here with the whole charts and things, it makes me think about the stock market. And we all know that the stock market can be good today and not so good tomorrow. So because of sudden changes, of things that happen sometimes out of our control. So maybe that's what has happened. The Seven of Swords, talks about normally people that we can trust, that sort of thing. This one here, I see somebody that's in court, telling the truth is what comes to mind. But with that gentleman here, it makes me think of, is somebody maybe not telling you the truth? Are you worried about people not telling you the truth? Are you afraid somebody is going to tell you the truth? So again, it all goes, I feel like you're really worried about what's being said. You're worried about maybe what's not being said. You're worried about what's coming, I'm getting is how do people see you? How do people think about you? What are people saying about you? And you're really, and this burden that I feel that you need to let go of is maybe, who really cares what they think of you? Unless it might be your employer. But in reality, people come and go in and out of our lives unless it's our family. And, maybe these people that you're so worried about, do they have these same concerns? In reality, we all worry about what people think about us. We all worry about what people are saying about us. But in the grand scheme of things, look in the mirror. What do you think about yourself? When you're the one in reality that has to look at yourself every day in the mirror. So are you happy with what you see? And maybe the bottom line is, the Seven of Swords is, what do you see, and are you happy with that? So that may be where the healing may need to begin. So let's get some more cards. So we now have the Knight of Wands, and again we have the Three of Swords. And again, the Three of Swords talks about healing. We have the Two of Pentacles, which again, for this one here, you have some decisions. And maybe right now, with this being in reverse, you may not be at a point where you can make those decisions. Then we have the World card, which talks about having resources. I feel like you have people around you. We have the Nine of Cups in reverse, which I feel like with the Nine of Wands in reverse, realizing that sometimes maybe something was given to you, and now maybe you're worried that the burden is that something's coming due. And sometimes things come at a price, and maybe you're not willing to pay that price, which is totally fine. Again, we have another Seven of Cups, and we have a Seven of Swords. And again, is the truth really being told? Is somebody trying to manipulate you, coming right after the Nine of Cups? If I give you this will happen. We have the Tower card, and this time here, I'm going to take it because of the crown. I'm taking this that it's upright, it's not in reverse. And are you afraid with this Nine of Cups and the Seven of Swords? Are you afraid that there's going to be another Tower moment, another disruption in your life? With the Emperor, I feel like if there is, you can handle it. If something's being said about you, you can handle it. We have the Six of Swords and Temperance. So going back to the Knight of Wands, I feel like with the Knight of Wands, that talks about creativity. That talks about, having passion. I feel like you have passion. You have passion for life. You have passion for living. And with the Three of Swords, I feel like you can heal. You can get through this, whatever this is. But right now, with the Two of Pentacles being in reverse, you may just be at a point of you need to heal a little bit. You need to kind of take a break. You need to realize that you have the resources. You have that ability to move forward. You have the ability to that you just may be at the end of the roads at this moment, and you just need to regroup. You just need to realize that you may need to move forward in a different path. Maybe if this is a group of friends, maybe you need to start looking for some newer friends. Bring some new people on. Maybe, as I said here, and I just realized, we have Temperance here. I mentioned adding and subtracting. We have another Temperance. Maybe you need to add some new friends to your group who might have more to offer. And then with the Nine of Cups, maybe if somebody's offering you something, maybe you're realizing if I take it, that what they have to offer may not be worth it. It may not be worth what I have to give up in the end. And again, that's where the Seven of Swords comes in. That to me talks about people maybe not telling you the truth. Maybe there's a little bit of manipulation going on. Maybe, they're not telling you everything you need to know if you take what they have to offer. With the Tower moment, again, I feel like you have that fear that if something happens, what if? And that's totally understandable. But again, I feel like with the Emperor, you're going to be moving forward. You have that strength to move forward. And with the Six of Swords, I see you moving forward. I see you, this may be going back, but I don't see you going back, because I see this going back, but I see a sword pointing the other way, so I see you moving forward. But as we were talking with the other Temperance, I see you adding new things to your life. I see you adding good things to your life. So this is going to be totally up to you, of course, because we all have free will in most circumstances. But you have the choice to bring something new into your life. You have the choice. And I know sometimes it may not be at this moment. I realize that in certain circumstances that is easier said than done. But because I see that you can add something to your life. You are moving forward and you are getting the strength. And I'm going to call this a yes, because I see you adding, I see you moving forward, and I see you having that strength. And yeah, I do see the Nine of Cups being in reverse, but I'm feeling like you're asking questions with the Seven of Swords. You're not taking it at face value. You're hesitant with the Tower card. You're not just taking everything and saying everything's going to come up roses. You're hesitant. You're not just buying into everything. So I'm going to call this a yes. So let's go ahead and let's get some oracle cards. Yeah, I get, again, with the Seven of Swords, I feel like you're not just going to buy into somebody trying to sell you something. And selling you something meaning could be in a relationship, could be a friend saying, hey, let's go do this. I feel like, you're going to question things. You're not just going to, we mentioned about people backstabbing you, talking about you. I feel like if somebody comes in and they tell you something, you're not just going to buy into what somebody has to say just to make people be your friend, make them like you, be part of their group. You're not going to let them manipulate you. You're going to question it. So you have, I feel like you have that option, and it's your free will on how you go on this. And like with any reading, it's your choice. This is just a reading on how we see it, or how I see it. So we have 38, protection. I feel like whatever route you go, there's somebody there that's going to be watching out for you. An anomaly. I feel like there's also somebody that's going to be coming in. You're going to have somebody protecting you, but there's going to be an anomaly. There's going to be somebody who you would not expect watching out for you, watching your back. And it's going to be somebody that you would have maybe thought would have never had your back in 100 years. You would have thought maybe they would have been one of the ones that would have been maybe saying something, or would have been one of the ones that you couldn't have trusted. But I feel like they're one of the ones, or they're going to be the one that you can, out of a group, they're going to be the ones that may have your back. They're going to be the unexpected one. As I drop all the cards. Turning inward. Inside this veil of bone and flesh, I lay my soul to sleep. All the truth within thy breathe have come to greet me. So, again, we're talking about nighttime. We're talking about sleep, and I think I think turning inwards, I think this is again where everything at night comes to greet you, and this is where all your worries come in. And I really think you need to, when they visit you, you really need to start healing, and you need to let them go. And all the truth, and I think also all the truth within thy breath have come to greet me. And I think you need to recognize what's truth and what is not. That goes along with the Seven of Swords, of seeing what people may be manipulating, people may be saying untruths. and what is really true and what is really not true. So if we've got the gossipy people, the people are just saying things to maybe make themselves feel better or whatever, or maybe nobody's really gossiping. Maybe it's just a fear. And then we have gratitude. All that I am and all that I will be forever in gratitude, I'll eternally be. And that one there is gratitude. And that just kind of makes me think that be proud of who you are, show gratitude for who you are, because I think you're a really great person. And I think that you have a lot to offer people. And I think that maybe thinking that people are maybe saying things about you, or you're worried about people saying things about you, I think you may not be giving yourself enough credit. I think that I think people may be talking about you, but I don't think it's in a negative way. I think sometimes we think that, and in reality, it's not the truth. You may have your people that say negative things, but I think that sometimes we think that things are being said, and in reality, it's actually positive. People are grateful to have you in their lives. And that's where adding more people, I think when you add, if you look at adding people to your lives, those people are going to be very grateful to have you in their lives. I think you have a lot to offer. And we have 1441, life goals, mission, sense of self, honesty, important projects. It's that time of intense self-development. Focus your mind on your craft. You already have what it takes to succeed, but practice makes you a master. It also serves to find your true purpose. Leveling up in your career or business is of your priority right now. So unique skills. And we have 4444. Blessing in disguise, obstacles, hardships, strength, building character, experience. There might be some difficulties ahead. You will push through them. You've got this. You have been struggling or feeling lost. The winds of change will blow in your favor if you've been suffering or feeling lost. Some things may fall apart, but you're building the framework for something much better. Hang in there. So if you're feeling lost that night, if you feel this, blessings in disguise. And then we have the last card, great blessings, self-love, boundaries, needs, good vibes, wisdom, understanding, letting go. We talked about that initially with the Tower card in reverse. Nurture yourself, your needs, desires, and boundaries. Let go of things that are weighing you down. Make space for something meaningful, and expand your spirit to all areas of your life. That big love, opportunity, or job needs to squeeze in somewhere. So, again, just if you're worried about things, let things that don't need to be worried about, let them go. Sometimes we take small things and we make them big. Again, if you're worried about people, let it go, because in the grand scheme of things, is it really worth pulling yourself down for this? And again, it is your choice how you proceed with this. Thank you for watching Crystal Water Tarot. Please like and subscribe, and I hope you join me again. Okay, welcome back to those who chose card number 2, seashell number 2. You chose turquoise, finding balance and healing. Let your spirit soar, and this seashell here. And so let's go ahead and bring out our tarot cards. We have the Star card. We have the Hangman in reverse. The King of Wands in reverse, and the Ten of Swords. We have the Four of Cups in reverse, the Six of Wands in reverse, the Emperor in reverse, the King of Pentacles in reverse, and then the Six of Swords. So, with the Star card in this centerpiece, I feel like you have hope, you're looking for something, or you're in the process of looking for something, you are looking for something, you found something. Everybody's in their different stages. or somebody else around you is. So this can apply to you or someone else. It may not apply to you at all. You may need to, this may not be your reading. But whatever the case may be, I feel like, and whoever this may apply to, I feel like they who are looking, have looked, found something. And they are, it's a hope, it's a dream, it's a thing, don't know. But they're not realizing what they've have. They're like maybe searching, they don't realize what they have maybe in front of them, or they're so immersed in something that they may not realize what's going on around them. And then we've got the King of Wands in reverse, and I feel like they may not be grounded. They may not be really connected with what's happening around them. They may be, whatever this hope or this dream is, or whatever they're doing, whatever they're working on, they are so immersed in it that I don't want to say have lost kind of touch with reality, but they've lost, maybe they've kind of lost with what's going on in their surroundings. They may not be realizing what may be being said about them. They may not be being said what's being talked about, how people are seeing them, how they're being viewed. I don't really know. All I see is like a crowd of people and the swords, which I don't like the swords in this card. But people may be questioning their judgment, questioning, what are they working on, what are they doing, really kind of questioning what's happening with them. I feel like then we have the Four of Cups, and I feel like, again, we have the people around them, and I feel like with this card, it's just kind of like, you may be meditating, you may just kind of be just ignoring what's going on. You're just like, I don't care, I don't want to know, whatever. But, so that's kind of what I'm getting. And then with the Six of Wands, I feel like at some point, you may be, this could be a work, this could be a job, this could be, maybe you're creating something, but it may be something you're having success with, which is awesome, or they're having success with, which is great. But I feel like they may be getting like recognition because we have, this pageant type person, and they're sort of like forgetting. It's like, see me, I'm here. But again, they're not grounded. They're like up in the clouds. They're really not recognizing what's going on. They're again not grounded. And they may not realize, this card talks about a pageant and all the other people who didn't win. And yeah, you may be being recognized for it, but are you not thinking about maybe the people that supported you? Are you not thinking about the people that may have also worked to get you there, that may have also worked on this as well? I don't know. But again, just kind of what's coming through. And again, this may be you, this may be somebody else, this may not even be your reading, but that's what's coming through. With the Emperor in reverse, we have a stone figure, and then we have the person in the card, and this talks about the combination of being hard as stone and human, connecting, combining. And are you flexible? With this whole combination, are you so set in your ways that you're not flexible? If you're being recognized, but are you not willing to, if this is something that you've done and others have helped you, are you not flexible in maybe giving others credit for what they have accomplished, for other credit for what they did? Are you not flexible in maybe seeing that, or is this person not flexible in recognizing maybe what you did, your contributions to whatever this may be? Then we have the King of Pentacles in reverse. And the King of Pentacles in reverse, we have this boardroom and we have this person in the middle, and are they only thinking of themselves? Are they only thinking of themselves being recognized? And so this is really coming through as somebody that may be looking for success, and that's what they're focused on, and again emerged and not really thinking about the people around them, the people that may have made contributions to their success. And success may not be necessarily a job, it could be in something that they wanted to create. And when we create things, we may have asked somebody's opinion, they may have supported us in different ways, and maybe the people around there said, maybe this person did this, and are they not touching ground with the fact that, yeah, they may have created this wonderful book, or they may have created this masterpiece, or they may have reached this position, but are they forgetting that maybe the people that, if they did have people that supported them, are they not recognizing those people? Are they thinking that they did it all on their own, when in reality they had help? And that help may have not have been creating the actual masterpiece, but maybe the support that contributed to them getting where they are. So then I see the Six of Swords coming right under here, and what that's kind of telling me is maybe they're changing directions. They're flying in a new direction. So maybe are they changing something new? Are they going on a different path? Are they looking to do something different? What does that mean? Where are they going? Are they going to do something new? Are they leaving this thing that they wanted? Now that they've achieved it, are they going to go do something different? So that's kind of where I'm at with this right now. So let's get some more tarot cards to see where we're going. So interestingly enough, we are leaving with the Six of Swords, which is going off with a new direction. We start off with the next set of tarot cards with the Fool card, which is new beginnings. So thinking with new beginnings is, are we looking at a new beginning of maybe recognizing people? Are we going to go off on a new project? Are we going to recognize new people? Then we have the Knight of Cups, which talks about love, proposal. Are we coming up with a new proposal? Are we going to come up with something different? Then we have the Two of Swords in reverse. We have the Page of Swords in reverse. We have the Queen of Pentacles in reverse. We have the Six of Cups in reverse. Again, a lot of reverses. We have the Nine of Swords in reverse. We have the Two of Pentacles in reverse. We then have the Chariot, and we have the World card. So, with that being said, I talked about a new proposal. With the and again, new direction, Knight of Cups, hopefully something, the Knight of Cups is a love card, so maybe something is changing inside of us. Maybe we lost somebody. Maybe we lost the love of our hearts, and we're opening up to love, which is a good thing. Maybe our new direction is, maybe now that we've achieved what we wanted to achieve, now we're going to open up to love. That's a proposal. That's a good idea. So now we have the Two of Swords in reverse. Maybe we are facing some feelings that maybe now we had the Ten of Swords. Maybe now we have to face the past, because we are seeing the Six of Cups in reverse. We have the Page of Swords, which is now, if people were talking about us, now we're kind of having to look at those words. We have the Queen of Pentacles, which was wastefulness, shallowness. So a lot of these cards are really, then we have the Six of Cups, which talks about haunting memories, that sort of thing, those skeletons. And so maybe, and he's looking back, so maybe this person, or you, again, not applying this to anybody, it could be a circumstance, it could be something maybe something that you haven't done yet, but it could be happening. Maybe this will make you reevaluate a situation. Maybe you could be going through this with somebody right now. But this person is looking back at maybe reevaluating what they did. And, the Knight of Swords is thinking that, thinking about what did I do? And overthinking. And sometimes with overthinking, it's not that difficult. You're overthinking what you did, or maybe what you said, or how you acted. And we've got the Two of Pentacles, and it talks about dropping the ball. Maybe you did drop the ball. Maybe you're just overthinking this and you realize you dropped the ball. Maybe you let people down because of your actions. And I'm just saying just whoever this person is, or however this situation played out. And you realize that now. And now you're thinking, how do I move forward? Maybe, do you have the resources? So is my journey completed? Not necessarily. So how do you complete this journey and end it on a happy note? So is your journey completed? I'm going to say no. This to me is going to be a no. Because I think maybe whoever this is, you need to move forward. But the journey here is going to be a no. This is, I believe that if you want to move forward, you may need to go back. And you may need to revisit your actions. You may need to revisit how this all played out. You may need to re-look at everything. Can you make amends? Maybe. Maybe it's not too late with certain people. Maybe there are things you can do, but don't overthink it. Sometimes if you drop the ball with people, whoever this person is, and again, I say you not as somebody watching this, because this may not apply to you. This may be a person in your life that did this. That, maybe if it's somebody in your life that did this, can they make amends? I am hoping yes. But the journey has not ended. I am hoping. I am hoping this person can go back. I'm hoping they can move forward by actually moving backwards. By going back, because this Joker is going back. And I hope that they don't overthink it to the point where they don't move forward. So this is going to be a no for me, because I think that this person needs to offer something. I think that whoever this person is needs to not overthink it. And we have the Fool here going backwards. I have I'm seeing a lot of things that are pointing back. You've got the Queen of Pentacles pointing back. You've got the Fool going backwards. And so that's what I'm hoping is, again, that if this is a situation where this person could make amends, they do make amends, but they have free will and choice. And the people that they need to make amends with may not accept them. But they also need to heal. They also need to do something within themselves to heal. They also need to make amends with themselves so that they can move forward as well. If they need to make amends with people and they don't accept their offer, then they need to accept that, and they need to make amends with themselves. They need to find a way to move on as well. So, with that being said, let's get some tarot cards. Some oracle cards. So at this point in time, this is going to be a no, because I think that this person may need to do some work if they so choose. It is totally up to them on how they move forward, if they even choose to move forward in that way. And they may not want to. They may be totally happy with the outcome. But based on the cards that I'm seeing, I don't believe that is the case. We have trickery. This person may have trick themselves into believing things. And when I mean trick themselves, when we had the hangman, I believe it was in reverse, they may have tricked themselves into believing things that were not true. They may have kind of just lived in a world where they were not grounded. That is where I see the trickery as being. I don't believe this person or whoever this may apply to actually tricked people. I don't see that. I believe that the trickery comes into not being grounded, to living in a world where, when we had the six of wands, I believe it was in reverse, that they lived in a world where it was their own. It was, see me, how wonderful I am, see what I did. And they were tricking maybe themselves into believing that they did it all on their own. They achieved whatever they achieved, not realizing or not wanting to believe that others may have contributed to their success in whatever it was. Memory. And again, memories. And now I believe that that's where we have the Nine of Swords, where they're thinking back with the obsessive thinking that, going back with the memories here, of the memories, thinking back, the obsessiveness of what did I do, that's where I think that this is all playing out. And by all means, I don't think in any way, shape, or form this is a bad person. I think that they wanted whatever this was so much that they just got lost in what they wanted. And sometimes when people are creating art, when they're creating a business, they get so obsessed in what they are doing that sometimes they just get lost, and they just get so, deep in what they are doing that that's all that really matters. And it can sometimes lead to hurting the ones that you love, not necessarily wanting to, but it can happen. Ornaments. So it is a remembrance of what was once, of what was, and with what will be, a fragile, beautiful beauty beaming upon thy. So an ornament, we have this cup, a peace offering. So, what once was, and with what will be, a fragile beauty beaming upon thy. So what once was, maybe they had a great relationship with people, and now it was fragile, and they don't have that anymore. And what will be could be what they choose to do to move forward. How do they correct this if they so choose? And interestingly enough, I'm seeing the 3 candles, which reminds me of the 3 of Cups. And the 3 of Cups talks about celebration and gatherings. Ceremony. I call upon those heralds of winter, dimming light for better sight. Hear thy praise spilling from thy lips, a spell I'll cast for thy spirits in me. A ceremony, maybe again a celebration. And, those of winter dimming lights for better sight. Maybe they're going to see something. Maybe they're going to see more. And again, we have the 3 candles. And the 3 candles talks about, again, remind me of the 3 of Cups. And again, so that's what I really feel like they want to celebrate. They want to come back in if they're out right now. They want to be a part of people's lives that they may not be a part of right now because of whatever the circumstance may be. And we're just going to grab a couple of number cards before ending. We have 888, karma, balance, finances, success, wealth, cycles. What goes around comes around. A lot of money is coming your way. Fortune refers to money more than just monetary and material success. If you don't appreciate the people in your life, you won't have them tomorrow. This message encourages you to take personal responsibility and use it to realize your greatest potential. Again, we've been talking about, maybe whoever this person is, maybe didn't appreciate the people that were in their lives, what they had to offer, how they helped, if this person was doing what their dream was, doing what they wanted to create. Again, maybe they didn't appreciate the people that were in their lives that supported them at that time. And this card is talking about appreciating those people and moving forward. And again, this could be anybody. This could be somebody in your life if it's not you. And again, this person is not a bad person. This person is not anything like that. It's just somebody that got very caught up in what they were doing. And we have 1441. And this card came out like a couple of the other cards in reading number 1, which is unique skills, life goals, missions, sense of self, honesty, important projects. Maybe this was something very important to them as well. It's that time of intense self-development. Focus your mind on your craft. You already have what it takes to succeed, but practice makes you a master. It also serves to find your true purpose. Leveling up in your career or business is a priority right now. So that could be, they just wanted to become a master of whatever they were focused on. Again, don't know what the circumstances were, but again, I feel like hopefully they will move forward. They will come around. They will reach out. There will be some type of a movement in a positive way. But at this time, it's going to be a no, as I mentioned earlier. I hope this helps somebody. And please join me again, like and subscribe. And again, I hope you join me again for another reading. Thank you. Okay, welcome back for those who chose card number 3, which is Serpentine, I believe it is. Embrace transformation, let go of old patterns and beliefs. And this pretty seashell. And so let's go ahead and draw our tarot. So we have the 10 of Wands in reverse. We have the Death card, which talks about transformation. We have the Fool card. We have Temperance. We have the 7 of Swords. We have the Page of Wands in reverse. We have the Hierophant. And we have the 6 of Swords. So, in the 10 of Wands in reverse, this here I see basically letting go of the burdens, letting go of things that are holding you back, letting go of things that you may have carried. This could be emotional, this could be burdens. I don't want to say burdens, maybe things that, especially seeing the Hierophant, things that you may have thought were your responsibility or duties because of traditions within your families, any kind of thing like that. So letting go of them, and maybe with the Death card moving on is transforming and going forward, moving on and releasing them and moving on to a new beginning, moving on and transforming and living your life, doing what you want to do, and not worrying so much about where this is going to take you, how it's going to take you, but transforming. I want to say, with the skeleton there, it almost makes me think, come alive. And with the Fool card here, it's like, you see the clown laughing, and we laugh at the clown. And maybe the carrying the burden was, maybe you always were the jokester, whether it be within your family or whether it be within your friends, and maybe you thought it was your job or your duty to make sure people were happy, keep people laughing. And so maybe you did things where people laughed at you, because that was a way, maybe that way you felt accepted, maybe that way there, when people were down, that's how you helped lift them up. So, but maybe it's time, rather than to be the one having people laugh at you to help them, maybe it's time to kind of transform it where people laugh with you, not at you. It's not your job to be the joke. It is not your job to keep people laughing all the time. It's a wonderful skill, do not get me wrong. But it is much more rewarding to have people laugh with you than to be laughed at. You know, sometimes people will do things so that to get attention, so that people will laugh at them. But that's not okay. It's just not okay. Sometimes, then we have the Seven of Swords, and sometimes people will manipulate people to do things where they'll get people to laugh, have people laugh at other people. And that's not okay. It's so not okay. So, maybe it's time to let that go. Maybe it's time, if that's what you did, to keep other people happy, to keep other people, maybe there was a situation that's just, and again, maybe that's what somebody does. Maybe you watch somebody around you do that. And that's really, maybe they think that's what they have to do to be accepted. And that's really not, that's my opinion, or that's what I feel is not okay. And then we have Temperance, which is the balance, which we can add or subtract to keep things in balance. And I think that where we're moving forward to lessen that burden, whether it be on somebody or it be on yourself, to lessen the burden of keeping people happy, or keeping people satisfied, or keeping people entertained. I feel that we need to keep that in check. We need to keep that in balance. That, again, that is not your full-time job, unless it is, and that you're a comedian, or an actor, or so on and so forth. You need to keep your life in balance, where it's not all the time you give. It's a give and take. It should be a give and take relationship type situation. And we had already spoken about the Seven of Swords, where, when people sit there and say, don't you think that's funny? Maybe they're laughing at somebody. And again, not laughing with, but laughing at somebody. You just say yes, but that's not really how you truly feel. Or they get you to agree because you're their friend, you're in the group, and you're not really okay with that. So maybe, I see the book here, which we assume would be the Bible, based on, previous traditions, and maybe telling the truth that if you see somebody being treated like that, or you're being treated that yourself, telling the truth that no, that may not be okay, if it's not okay. Going back to the transformation card, maybe you're letting go of whatever this burden is, or somebody's letting go, whatever the case may be. What are you or what are they afraid of? If they stop being the joke, or if they speak out, or if you speak out, what are you, with the Page of Wands in reverse, what are you kind of afraid of? It looks like you're trying to crawl out of something. What are you trying to crawl out of, or what are you trying to get away from? With the Page of Swords in this rope, it looks like you're trying to maybe get away from something, not crawling up. It's like you're crawling down, rather than being on top of the mountain. And I know this is in reverse, or rather than being in, you're trying to get away from something. With the Hierophant, maybe again we're talking about traditions, we're talking about that. And I also feel like this is like not following the norm. So maybe you're not following the crowd. The crowd may be that maybe you have somebody in your group that may be always the one who's the center of the jokes. And maybe you're tired of seeing that. Maybe you don't follow those anymore. Maybe you change the way you think. And with the Six of Swords going in, maybe you're ready for a change. Maybe you're ready to go into a new direction. So that's kind of what I'm feeling. And again, we've got going in a new direction, and we got transformation. So whatever this circumstance is, whatever this is, maybe you're just tired of going this way. Maybe you're just tired of carrying this. Maybe you're seeing somebody treated in an inappropriate way. And you're just kind of doing the checks and balances. Is this really okay? You're questioning, is this really okay? And you're starting to kind of crawl out of what the norm is, and you're getting ready to kind of, you're raising your hand and saying, you have this person crossing their fingers, thinking like, maybe nobody will see it, but are you being true to yourself and what you truly believe? So, and again, are you getting ready to challenge the norms? And are you getting ready to head into a new direction? And this came up, I want to say, in one of the other readings as well. So, let's get some more tarot cards. We have the Ten of Cups. We have the Seven of Cups in reverse. We have the Five of Cups in reverse. We have the Magician. We have the Magician in reverse. We have the Emperor. We have the Eight of Swords. We have the Moon. And we have the Queen of Cups. So with the Ten of Cups, I feel like you have support around you. So even if you are getting ready to question this and this, if it's you, or maybe you're the one that's being treated maybe differently, and you're getting ready to say, hey, I'm done with this, and this burden, if you're the one that's being done, it's a burden that weighs on you. If you're seeing somebody else being treated like this, you feel maybe it's a burden because you're tired of seeing this person treated. Either way, either or. I feel like there's support in your family. There are other people that may be seeing the same thing. There are other people that feel the same way that you do. And I feel like if you were to speak up, or if they were to speak up, whatever the case may be, there is more than just you. So you are not alone. Then we have the Seven of Cups in reverse. And you have options, but they may be a little bit difficult. You're unable to choose which way to go. And by all means, it's not an easy decision. And, it's easier said than done. Maybe you've already made the decision. But it's not an easy decision when you're being treated a certain way, or you watch somebody else being treated a certain way. It's not easy to be that person to step up. It's not easy to say, hey, don't do that, or hey, stop treating me, because then we have the Five of Cups in reverse. And what regret? What are you going to lose? What are you going to leave behind? What could you lose? So it's like, you've got these two vases right now, but you've got some, but if you open your mouth and you say something, what could you lose? If right now, if everybody accepts you right now, because they might laugh at you because they joke about you, whatever, but at least you're kind of being accepted. At least they do talk to you, at least whatever. Or if they do accept you and they are kind of making jokes about this other person, but at least you're part of the group. What do you stand to lose? So that's where these two cards for me are decision cards. They kind of, the Seven of Cups is so big. The Five of Cups really does impact the Seven of Cups. And what are you going to lose? What could you lose? So that to me is a very difficult card, because then you're also followed by the Magician card, which talks about manipulation. It talks about feeling powerless, conned. So, at this point in time, where you're followed by this one is, you've got this Five of Cups where you feel powerless because you've got the Magician. What are you being, if it's you being treated like this, are people telling you, hey, you're so funny, you're such a great person, blah, blah, you take it so well, but are you being manipulated because they're feeding you this information? And you're and they're just having entertainment at your expense? Or are they just telling you this because they just enjoy treating this other person this way? So are you being conned? Are you being manipulated? Again, it goes back to, you need to make that decision. That's not up to me to say. That's not up to anybody to say. That is really up to you to say. And so, again, I feel that you're not alone in this. I just feel like people don't talk about it. People are not saying anything. And it's easier sometimes not to say anything than to have a discussion. It's easier not to say anything than to speak up. So, again, especially nowadays. So again, it is easy for me to sit here and read the cards and say this, that, and the other thing, but it is more difficult in person, in action, to take an action. Again, that's where this whole indecision comes. So by all means, I do feel like with the Emperor, you do have power, you do have strength, and you do have control. If this is you being treated this way, you do have control over that situation. You can say, please stop treating me this way. Whether or not they do will depend. Whether or not how you choose to move forward is your decision. You know, you can continue to be treated that way, or you can walk away. That is up to you. But again, I still feel like there are people that around you are still going to support you and are still going to love you for who you are. And if you speak up for another person, I feel like that person, it could go either way. So again, we never know how others are going to react. Then we have the Eight of Swords, and I think sometimes we restrict ourselves and we put fear in our minds because we don't know outcomes. We don't know. And again, it falls right under the decision card. We don't have the answers. We don't have the crystal ball. We don't know. Even doing this reading, we have no idea how it's going to turn out. So, but again, it's that indecision. It's that fear. It's the fear of the unknown. And so, again, nobody can doubt anybody. We then have the Moon in reverse, and that is, it's emotional. This is, even by these cards, you can see these decisions and how they're making people feel. You know, the person who's being made the joke of, or who people are making jokes about, you know, they may be laughing on the outside, but you don't know how they're feeling in the inside. So, you know, that's always something to think about. You know, if it's you, you know how you feel. And does it feel good? And what is being said? And so that is where, you know, it also talks about seeing things for how they truly are. And is it truly, it may not be a big deal, but is it impacting you? It may not be a big deal for this other person if they're the ones that are being made the joke of, you know. But finding, you know, would it hurt to find out? How would, if you took a moment to actually learn the truth, how would the outcome change? That might be a possibility. Then we have the Queen of Cups. The Queen of Cups, we talk about follow your heart. So at the end of the day, no matter what I say, how I read this, you need to follow your heart. And if that is, you don't say, nothing gets said, that is okay. If something is said, that is okay. If you don't have a decision yet, that is okay. So this is going to be a yes, because at the end of the day, you need to follow your heart. It cannot be based on this this reading is follow your heart. Because at the end of the day, you have to live with the decisions you make. And if that decision is that you can't say anything because you have fear, that's okay. I am not in your situation. Nobody's in your situation. So you have to live with you. And you have to live with the decisions that you make. I don't. And neither does any other tarot reader. So you have to live with the decisions that you make. And at the end of the day, you need to follow your heart. And so this is going to be a yes, because at the end of the day, you need to follow your heart. So let's go ahead and let's get some oracle cards. Card 1 is risk. Are you going to take a risk? Are you willing to take a risk? If it's for yourself or for another person, that is up to you. Sacred space. You know, do you have a sacred space where you could feel safe to maybe talk to somebody, to maybe get their opinion, to talk to somebody you trust, to see what they think, to talk to somebody that you know you can trust and that loves you, and you can have a conversation. We did start this reading with transformation, and Six of Swords, going down a new path, transformation. But at the end of the day, you need to follow your heart. Crone. Thy wisdom befriends the honor in which weaves within blood a harrowing calling from the depths of your sacredness. So maybe as you get older, and I'm just, with the crone, I see, not in a negative way, somebody gets older and they learn the wisdom. They realize where they came from. They learn, maybe talking to somebody older, maybe talking to a grandparent, somebody older and wiser who maybe has experienced this, might be helpful. Befriends somebody that you honor, maybe a grandparent. May your warmth take in the glazing flame, upon the shivers they melt away. See, and I'm seeing cardinals. So the hearth reminds me of family. The warmth and the shivers melt away remind me of a place where you feel safe. Kind of goes back to sacred space. And I'm thinking either your parents or grandparents or elderly, not necessarily old, but elderly people that you trust. Somebody that's older, wiser, that you could talk to. Somebody that you respect. Somebody that might be able to shed light or give some type of advice that you would truly trust on this situation. And I say people that may be laughing at other people, making a joke, but that could also be treating them inappropriately, treating them in a way that would not normally be acceptable, that would not be in a way that you yourself would not be treated, or if you are the person that is the one that's being treated in not a correct way, being laughed at or being treated in an inappropriate way, maybe you do need to talk to somebody that's a little bit older. Maybe you need to get somebody to talk to. And that person may be an elderly person, and it may not even be somebody within your family, but it may be somebody that's older, and the hearth, the home, the warmth, that just reminds me of somebody that's older and wiser, that has that wisdom of how people should be treated. And our first angel number is 0110, belief system. Go after what you want, unique, destiny, inspiration, talents, gift, appreciation, and gratitude. You are blessed with talents and skills that make it easy for you to stand out from the crowd. Embrace what makes you different. That's your path to success. Your dreams will come true. Your dreams will soon come true. Maybe you or this other person are a little bit different. That's why you stand out. That's why others may say things or make jokes, that sort of thing. So again, and that's, being different wonderful. It's a blessing. It's not a curse. And how you believe is not a bad thing. $11.22. Personal growth, spiritual development, and manifesting goals, oneness, connection, and completion. First, focus on the positive changes occurring due to your efforts. Then expand your horizon and permit yourself to try something new. So many positive shifts are in store for you. The world around you is changing in favor of your intentions. So again, what are your intentions? If you choose to follow your heart, again, I can't stress this enough. Follow your heart and your intentions and everything. And hope, I hope this helps you. I hope this helps somebody. This is a yes, because again, whatever choices you make are up to you, not this reading. But at the end of the day, you need to make your own decisions and you need to follow your heart, what is right for you. Even if this is affecting somebody else, it still needs to be right for you, because you need to come first. Because at the end of the day, you need to make sure you're okay. Thank you for joining Crystal Water Tarot. Please like and subscribe and join us again.